And we're here today because we don't want a massive coal port built right over there on the Surrey side of the river. And if you look behind you, you can see right now Fraser Surrey Docks is loading something and the dust is flying through the air. So imagine that that's not lentils, but instead it's coal. And we shouldn't be breathing that dust in. So I don't know if they're aware we're doing this right now, but that's bad PR for those guys. We don't want dirty U.S. thermal coal being shipped by rail through White Rock, through Delta, and through Surrey, along Boundary Bay, next to Burns Bog, and through our communities. We don't want 8 million tons a year of that dirty U.S. coal shipped by open barge down the Fraser River, past globally important wetlands, through the feeding grounds for sandpipers and other migratory birds, through habitat for orcas, and up to Texada Island. And we don't want that coal loaded onto ocean-going vessels and then shipped through the Salish Sea to China to be burned, where it's going to add to climate change and smog in China and mercury pollution back here in Vancouver, in Metro Vancouver. As Ruben said, this fight is all about people coming together at the grassroots. It's about community organizing and the strength we find when we meet our neighbors and work together in common cause. That's a powerful thing, and it's authentic, and it's unstoppable. We're here today because people in communities, people like you, care enough to take action. But this fight is also about local leadership and political representatives who stand up for what's right. The city of New Westminster was one of the first communities to say, wait a minute, you're not going to dump that coal pile on that across from the river without talking to us first. And we appreciate that kind of leadership because it moves the issue forward. So coming up next to give us a welcome from the city of New Westminster is Councillor Jamie McEvoy.
I'm very proud to be here today and be here as the chair of your city's Environmental Advisory Committee. I want to tell you a little bit about what it's been like to deal with this proposal from the civic level. Because, you know, we are the elected local officials. The Port Authority is not elected. And you would think that that would have some resonance. When the Fraser Surrey Docks first came to New Westminster to tell us about their proposal, we had some conversations and asked some very direct questions that could have had direct answers. Will coal transport harm wildlife or life in the Fraser River? You know what the answer was? The coal will not affect bioaccessible zones. We asked if there would be coal dust that would be escaping from the trains. We were told, no, don't worry about that. There will only be fugitive coal dust. So it's not about coal, it's about coal behaving badly. And we asked what the backup plan would be if the train lines for some reason weren't operating, because they told us the coal wouldn't be routed through New Westminster, as if though it mattered less if people in Surrey were affected. And yes, they told us if there was a problem with the planned trackage, New Westminster would be the backup plan. My grandfather was a coal miner, and he spent 2 years in bed from coal asthma. Lost most of what he earned as a miner because of it. Don't ever let anyone tell you that coal doesn't have a health effect, that it has a special chemical treatment that makes it better, because that's a lie and it doesn't. When I heard about Quebec and the decision by the Harper government to ship asbestos to other countries, a product that can't be used in Canada, but Canada is willing to profit by sending this dangerous substance to other countries, I thought, how can anybody do that? And then we had this issue, and I read a study, a Chinese government study, that showed that the health effects in northern China from using coal as a power source are dramatic, and China wants to get out of using coal as a power source. I was shocked by the decision about asbestos, and we cannot export for profit health problems and condemnation to other people around the globe. We can't do it. So let's be clear about the Port Authority. It wants to expand. It has no ethical guidelines to follow. It is buying up land along the Fraser River, including agricultural land. It doesn't pay full taxes to your local government when it does that. And it's completely outside of the control of your elected local government officials who govern Metro Vancouver but are not allowed a more significant say in the Port of Metro Vancouver. But there's one aspect of democracy that they can't escape, and they cannot escape the people power that we see here today. The city will continue to fight this, and I'm so proud as I look around. I see familiar faces and new faces. I'm so proud that we can stand together like this while we pursue this issue. New Westminster was one of the first communities to raise this issue. New Westminster was one of the first communities to ask the medical health officers to take a look at this. And I want to just mention a couple of the people who have supported that. Councillor Lori Williams is here today. Councillor Chuck Puckmeyer, who is spearheading our Railways Committee. Judy Darcy is here today, our MLA. We have Peter Julian and Finn Donnelly coming up soon. So across the board, your representatives in city government, in provincial government, in federal government, in local government, and right here with the people, right across the board, we've got support in New Westminster for this fight, and that makes us pretty strong. And before I go, I want to tell you that the vote at Metro Vancouver to oppose this was not insignificant. It's a very important act by our locally elected representatives across the region who said, we as cities have a right to make healthy, livable cities. An unelected body does not have the right to take that away from us. And I also want to mention one of the people who cast their vote at Metro Vancouver in our favor and against this proposal. Mayor Wainwright is here today. So thank you. We'll stick together. We'll carry on. No matter how difficult it feels, remember, I've been an environmentalist all my life. Quite often we win in the end. Thank you.